Yeshiva Kesser Torah is the definition of what a yeshiva, what Reb Chaim Volozhiner envisioned.
A yeshiva is a fortress for the Torah. Especially yeshiva like our yeshiva protects the Torah. It's definitely a fortress for the Torah.
From the first moment I walked into the yeshiva, the first thing I noticed was the incredible warmth that the yeshiva displays to each and every Talmud.
Here at the yeshiva, they show you what a true Avad Hashem is.
A place where boys grow in every aspect of Ruchnius, Ben Adam L'Chaviroi, Ben Adam L'Makim, all under the leadership of the Rosh Yeshiva.
The shmuzing given by the Rosh Yeshiva guides us for life after the yeshiva, after we leave the yeshiva.
The yeshiva is not just a beis medrash, a beis knesses. The yeshiva is a makam chinuch. Chinuch, Lashon Rashi says, is to get a kli ready for the future shtamshus, the future usage.
Whenever anyone looks at a Kesser Torah bacher, they see that the yeshiva gives to the bacher more than just a mahalach halimud. They give them a mahalach hachaim.
Those who learn the yeshiva, that's a fortress for the Torah, are affected by the Torah. So that when they leave the yeshiva and they become Boigei HaYeshiva, they now have those lessons that they learned, and they use those limud they learned as they go into the world, whether they're in Karel in different yeshivas or they go to work. The Torah they learned all those years affects them, had their interactions with people.
The idea is to be mechanech them, to get them ready, not just a short-term plan for the 4 years in yeshiva. It's a long-term plan for a lifetime, imbued in the Bachrim. It has to be something which is everlasting.
Baruch Hashem, I've been zeicha to be a chelik of yeshiva and the yeshiva, as a Rebbe, as a Talmud, and as a Rosh Chabura. The yeshiva, Baruch Hashem, took care of me as a Talmud, and I'm still a Talmud, Baruch Hashem.
The Bachrim in our yeshiva are so trained from the day they walk in to think about everybody else, whether it's doing their jobs faithfully or just caring for each other in such a beautiful way, that when it translates so beautifully into marriage, it's just that the idea of caring for other people is just so healthy, Baruch Hashem. They're just such gesunte b'nei Torah.
One vart that the Yeshiva one time said during Shalosh Shudis keeps reiterating through my mind almost every day that I'm in the workforce. He said over from Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky and Rabbi Aaron Cutler, why was it so important that Yaakov Avinu stopped by Shem Ve'ever? Because they needed to learn a Torah Skalos. How did one act when they leave yeshiva?
The goals of the yeshiva is to produce Avdi Yisrael Shebecho Aspire, or the chiyuv to be constantly Mekadesh Shemayim, wherever the Talmud is.
You see, the yeshiva shows so much care and devotion for each and every bacher.
I've seen now, as a Rebbe in the yeshiva, how the yeshiva takes care in every detail, for every bacher. Nothing is minute. Every bacher, every seder, every shir, the yeshiva is meise, leiv and nefesh to ensure that every bacher has what he needs to steig into an emes ben Torah.
Whenever we bump into Boigei HaYeshiva, it's always meet someone with a smile, a simchas hachayim. You see the ehrlichkeit, the midas tovos. You see a true ben Torah.
3 years ago, I had a meeting in Midtown Manhattan. The partner asked me, so where did you learn when you were a bacher? And I told him I learned by Reb David Fishman by Kesser Torah. He's like, I know that yeshiva. That yeshiva is the boys who learn Musar, and they have midas. I like guys from that yeshiva.
I had a chavrusa that told me he bedafka tries to find a bacher or a young man that learned by Rabbi Fishman because of the fact that he feels that they have a mahalach in learning. And he makes it a point to find a chavrusa who learned in this yeshiva because he appreciates that.
When a bacher comes to Yeshiva Gedola Kesser Torah, he's not just entering a yeshiva for 3 or 4 years. He never leaves the yeshiva. He just changes his location.
Alumni is a word we don't use in the yeshiva. It's a constant Talmud of the yeshiva. Talmud yeshiva wherever he goes in life.
I know I have a Rosh Yeshiva, that's extremely proactive in providing whatever anybody needs. Anytime the Rosh Yeshiva came to Lakewood to speak to the alumni, the shmooze always addressed a wide range of people at different stages in life.
Now that I'm in the workforce, there's so many things I reflect and I realize the lessons I learned when I was in yeshiva. The achrayus is to be by a meeting on time, to be help other people, to be consistent and be mekadosh Shem Shemayim.
A number of weeks ago, the Mashgiach made a chasana, and I remember I saw alumni there that yeshiva maybe 10, 12 years ago, and they were dancing with such simcha with the Mashgiach, and with such a ava, and with such a kurva, the oilam danced for Mashgiach. I was overwhelmed by it. I never saw anything like that in my life.
I think I qualify as an alumnus of this yeshiva even before the yeshiva opened its doors. Baruch Hashem, I was zeicha to learn by the Rosh Yeshiva when he was the 12th grade Rebbe in Camp Harim. One phenomenal story a chaver of mine just shared with me. He asked Rabbi Fishman a question on a shmooze that he had just given on a Friday afternoon. The yeshiva didn't have the answer to the question. Around 18 years later, he gets a phone call. David Elisha, do you remember that you asked me a question on a shmooze that I said? The yeshiva had told him that he's been looking to get an answer to that question for many, many, many years. And he finally has an answer. Now that's a Rebbe who cares and thinks about his Talmidim for years on end.
Talmidim of Kesser Torah have a built-in GPS. No matter where they find themselves in life, they always have the ability to call up their yeshiva, to direct them and lead them in a way that's right for them.
Past Ben of Manim, I was learning in a shul in Lakewood. I noticed sitting in front of me was one of the Chashuv yeshivas in a well-known yeshiva in Lakewood. As I got up to leave, the yeshiva stopped me and asked me, said, "Tell me, what's your yeshiva's secret?" I realized it's the love, dedication, caring that the yeshiva displays to each and every Talmud. Not just when he's in yeshiva, but for life.